Heidi. Up the mountain. From the beautiful old village of Minefield, a path winds through green and shady meadows to the foot of the Swiss Alps. The land grows wider as the trail continues up the mountainside. A climber begins to smell sweet grass and flowering plants as the path curves higher to the place where Uncle lives. One day, two figures were walking on the path. A tall girl named Dieter and her niece Heidi, who was no more than 5 years old. Dieter had cared for the little girl since Heidi's parents died, but now she was on her way to a job in Frankfurt. She was taking Heidi to live with Uncle, Heidi's grandfather, known to all in the little village of Dorfli. He was called Uncle, and lived year-round on the Alm, or mountain. He did not know that they were coming. In fact, he had not seen Heidi since she was a year old. Halfway up the mountain, in Dorfli, Dieter saw her friend Barbel. "I am glad I am not the child," Barbel said. "That old man up there hardly ever comes to Dorfli, and has nothing to do with anyone. He does not come down the mountain. When he does come down the mountain, everyone gets out of his way. The sight of him with his bushy gray eyebrows and his rough beard is alarming enough. He looks angry, and no one cares to know him. Uncle's hut sat on a cliff overlooking the valley. Behind it stood huge fir trees, and the mountain with grassy slopes and steep rocky summits. Uncle was outside when Dieter and Heidi came up the footpath. Heidi ran to him and said, "Hello, grandfather." She stared at his thick beard and eyebrows. "What is the meaning of this?" Uncle asked. "She has come to stay with you," Dieter said. "I have cared for her long enough. Now it is your turn." "My turn?" The way Uncle looked at Dieter, made Dieter draw back. "What will I do if she frets and whines?" "That is the problem. That is your problem," said Dieter. You are her grandfather. If you cannot care for her, then do what you like. Do as you like." The old man's eyes flashed with anger. Filling out his arms, he shouted at Dieter. "Go away! Go back where you came from, and do not let me see you again." Dieter ran off down the mountain. Heidi happily explored her new home, while grandfather made a soft bed of straw for her in the loft. It had a cozy sheet and warm blanket. Through a round window, in the room, once could see right down the valley. When the evening wind came and roared through the fir trees, Heidi was so happy that she skipped and danced for joy. And she and Grandfather quietly ate their supper. Then Heidi climbed up to bed, where she soon lay as sweetly and soundly asleep as a young princess on a couch of silk. Out with the goats. Each morning Peter, the goatherd, went to Dorothy to get the villagers' goats and take them up the mountain to graze. Grandfather's 2 goats were Little Swan and Little Bear. When Peter came to get them, Heidi ran to say hello. "Do you want to go with them up the mountain?" Grandfather asked. Heidi was so happy that she skipped on ahead of Peter, gathering wildflowers in her apron. "You have enough," he said, running after her. "If you pick all the flowers now, there will be none left for tomorrow." They reached the grazing spot, and 2 friends sat in the soft grass and ate. The lunch that Grandfather sent for. "Peter," said Heidi, the prettiest of all the goats are Little Swan and Little Bear." "I know," he replied. "Uncle is very kind to them. He brushes them and washes them, and he has the nicest shed for them." Peter told Heidi each goat's name, and all afternoon he played with them and enjoyed being high. She played with them and enjoyed being high up the mountain. She was never so happy in her life. She loved the golden sunlight, the fresh air, the sweet smell of the flowers, and wished for nothing more than to stay forever. When the sun began to set, it meant the end of the happiest of days. "Look!" she cried. "The mountains are a rose color. Look at that, once covered with snow, and the one with the high pointed rocks